name is Alexandru Niculae. I'm the World Coffee Roasting Champion 2016. I started in this coffee business 4 years ago. I owned a restaurant with my girlfriend and my mother. Before I had that restaurant, I didn't drink coffee because I considered it bitter and I didn't drink specialty coffee. That was the problem. After the first national competition of Brewers Cup, which is the one that I won, I really liked it and I wanted more, you know. I said, okay, I must become a world champion. And I was in Rimini and I was the 60th place and I wasn't so happy about it. I said, well, then I have to roast my own coffees. It kind of pushed me towards being the best, you know. I really wanted to become a world champion, so it was my dream. Like, seriously, I dreamt about it, of becoming the world champion. This year, when I competed, I won the world championship. So I had a dream come true, you know. It was really amazing. I have goosebumps all the time when I think about it. It's amazing. Well, I had to improve a lot. Like, especially I had to be more open-minded. That's the best answer for me. I mean, I consider roasters and baristas like chefs, you know. I use the same I use a recipe, you use a recipe, I roast the coffee in a way, you maybe roast it in other ways and everything, but you have to be more open-minded to new things, even though if it's roasting or brewing or everything, but you have to be more open-minded. I said it like a lot of times, but that changed the way I think about roasting and everything, you know. After the competition, after Gothenburg, when I was the 8th place, I kind of watched my profiles on Cropster, a software that was new to me back then and I didn't knew it. And it helped a lot. I mean, it really did. The logging systems helps you and reveal, actually, I mean, not that they reveal something, but they can help you to see what happens during the roast, you know. And you can change it live. Of course, if you don't mess up too badly the roasting, the batch. But after that, anyway, you can do another batch and you can fix everything, you know. It's much more easier to do that than to do it manually by senses or stuff like that, which is not so. I mean, you can do it, of course, but you will not have the same quality that you will have on a strictly roasting profile. So it helps a lot. Well, becoming more open-minded isn't quite easy as it seems. I mean, for most, maybe the egos and stuff like that, but you have to, don't be afraid of testing new things in roasting, you know, like, I don't know, changing the way you apply the heat or the airflow or the drum speed, anything. I mean, don't just go like a normal roasting profile that you do. Try to do it more. I mean, even though it sounds crazy or something, but do it. Maybe it will be better. In the end, it's all about taste. So don't be afraid to experience everything. That's what I consider to be open-minded. And also use, of course, all the technology that you can use. Because everybody now uses smartphones, smartwatches. We have to use that technology in roasting, in coffee as well, you know. So basically it's a 4-day competition. Basically 3 days actually. The 4th day is when you cup all the coffees blindly. You don't know which coffee is of each competitor and anything. So first day you get the sample roast. You get the sample coffees for the sample roasting, which will help you to make a profile, a tasting profile of that coffee. And of course to know exactly which coffee are you working with, everything. In the same day, you have to green grade the coffee. Green grading means not only sorting the defects, but you have to measure the humidity, density, and also to screen size the coffees, the beans. This is 30 minutes for the green grading. So you kind of are in limit, let's say, with the time, depending on how much you know about green beans, and you should know if you compete in a competition like this, because it's really important. After that, the second day, you will roast the single origin, which you will not be allowed to take outside of the area, roasting area, which you will have to supply all the coffees to the judges. And in the third day, you have to do the blend, have to roast the blend, And during the first day, till the day you roast the blend, you can cup and everything and create your own blend with the coffees that have been given to you. And you have to use 10% of each coffees. So it's really interesting, because all of us receive the same coffee and nobody comes with an expensive coffee and has an advantage or something. So it's really good. I'm really happy about this competition. I really like it, because it's the most fair competition ever. Well, each roaster is quite different, so I didn't came prepared with the profile at the championships right now, because I knew for sure that it's a different environment, it's a different machine, especially you don't know the coffee, which is like the most important thing, And I tried a lot of profiles back home, like, I don't know, different approaches on rate of rise, different approaches on what the rate of rise was at the moment of the first crack, different airflows during the whole roasting process, different temperatures applied. So you must experience everything, like really everything. You have to try everything. Don't just copy other people's profiles or something like this, because each roaster will be so different that it will not work. It's not gonna work, believe me. Yeah, it's really difficult. I didn't necessarily train. I mean, I did roast it a lot, but in the last period of the roasting, near the championship was closing by, I didn't have time to train myself for a specific roast with different coffees. I mean, all my experience and everything gained till that moment, I applied it at the World Championship. So it's quite difficult with road training for this championship. I mean, you have to do what you do at your own roaster. You have to, when you do have a new coffee, you make a profile, maybe you want to change something, maybe totally different, do it again, see how it reflects on taste. If it reflects well, why not? You can apply similar techniques at the World Championships. So it's not something that you train specifically for. You kind of do this all day long. You don't have to do a presentation like barista or brewers that you have to rehearse every day for the speech and everything. What I did do a lot of trainings for is the green grading, because that is really important. You have to know your green beans. It's one of the most important aspects of the whole roasting. It's available for chefs, baristas, for everything. If the raw material is bad, it's simply you cannot go further, You cannot transform an apple into a pineapple. This is my approach, kind of, It's difficult. This is hard, but in generally you should be using a logging system, because it helps you a lot to see exactly at which point you're at this moment. I mean, which level of knowledge are you at this moment, To see exactly how the rate of rise affects. You need to understand everything that happens in the roaster, not necessarily the chemical part or the science part, more, but you need to understand how the temperature affects the flavor, and how the stability in the roasting profile affects the final flavor, So you have to do your best. It's quite difficult, you know. I read a lot of books about coffee and some about roasting, and I tried everything, you know. I tried different stuff, and this is how I learn mostly, because when you go to a seminar or to something, you cannot learn something that others learn in years or months or whatever. So you have to try it out. Of course, knowledge is really important to know what's happening, but you have to try it out. And I did try out a lot of things, you know. Experience comes with time, you know. You cannot learn to roast in like 1 day or 2 days. Even if you go to a training or whatever, you learn some basics and then you have to apply them. Depending on you, how you apply those techniques and everything, it's strictly up to you how you develop the coffee and how the cup will taste like. This is why competitions really help, really help you a lot, because you see others and maybe you don't take the first place in the first competition, or you end up on the last place. Doesn't matter exactly, but you don't have to be discouraged by that. You have to learn from the mistakes you did and try to evolve, of course. This is what I did. My first competition was the 60th place, and then the next year the 8th place, and now the first place. So it was really interesting, you know. It was funny, but I learned a lot. And I learned a lot because I wanted to learn. I'm really passionate about what I do. If you don't like what you do, most probably you will not learn, you know.